Reading from Philippians. If then there is any encouragement in Christ, any consolation from love, any sharing in the Spirit, any compassion and sympathy, make my joy complete. Be of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility regard others as better than yourselves. Let each of you look not to your own interests, but to the interests of others. Well, it's truly an honor to be able to speak here in front of you tonight, especially under these conditions. That being said, let me preface this short sermon by letting you know that when I told people I was planning on using a Pauline epistle for my scripture reading, I was met with a rich gamut of facial expressions, none of which were remotely close to what could be considered like encouraging or positive. So, however, I feel a little bit better knowing that Reverend Kathy Spees, I don't know where you are, and Reverend Ernie Martin did it first, so if you have a problem, you can blame them. I chose this passage for the simple reason that it speaks to me. After all, I'm standing before you seeking ordination in order to serve the Lord. And the entire premise of my ministry is based upon putting others before myself. That is, in essence, my job. So service to others has been a constant theme in my life for a long time. One area I found myself serving others is in that of through the fire and EMS service. I've been a firefighter paramedic for 14 years now. And up until now, working in stressful environments with people who are not having the best day of their lives has been my ministry. That's what I've considered to be my ministry. It's a humbling experience to know that the Lord's influx allows me to be able to serve those who are sick and dying. And my intentions are to continue to do so as an ordained minister. I will also be ministering to those in need in a more overtly Christian manner in the realm of a chaplain. Fortunately, serving others is not just the responsibility of the clergy. It's your job as well. And we're all considered commissioned by the Lord to shun selfish ambition and vain conceit in order to humbly serve others. Our shared life experience show us, however, this is obviously no easy task at times. Humility is often in short demand. Selfless service is seemingly discouraged nowadays among more so than it is encouraged. And additionally, we seem to be living in an era of rampant narcissism that our society seems to be embracing rather than discouraging. And as Paul mentions in Philippians, we are to put the interests of others before our own, just as we are to consider others to be better than ourselves. This does not mean that we should dispense with all traces of self-worth or accomplishment, but rather that we should constantly be cognizant of how our actions or our inaction affects those around us in a negative manner. It's a simple concept, yet one that we often seem to struggle with. We must look to Christ. He is the example set for us to follow. He considers us better than himself, just as we should consider others better than ourselves. Christ put our well-being before his own, just as we should put the well-being of others before our own, both naturally and spiritually. He humbled himself to the position of a servant, just as we should humble ourselves and strive to serve others to the best of our abilities. He did that for each of us. And ultimately, if we truly want to live a spiritual life, it's our duty to mirror that love and humility of the Lord to everyone we encounter. Only then will we be truly worshiping the Lord. Amen.